Today I'd like to talk to you about a soda can. It's round, it's made out of metal, it holds delicious beverages, and when you're finished with your beverage, you can use it for other things like a vase to hold flowers, or how about a camera to take pictures? Wait, what? Meow? I'm not talking about a digital camera, I'm talking about a pinhole camera. Let me show you what I mean. A pinhole camera is basically the simplest type of camera there is. The idea behind it is that if you take a light-proof box and poke a tiny pin-sized hole in one side of it, light will pass through the hole and project an inverted image on the opposite wall. If there's a light-sensitive film or paper on that wall, you can capture the image. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Well, seeing is believing, so I tried building a few pinhole cameras at home. At first I used a couple cardboard boxes and I taped them inside the windows of my home. But I also wanted to try this experiment outdoors. So a little internet research brought me to the tin can method. That's what we're going to be doing today, is we're going to be using soda cans to make pinhole cameras. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I do want to give you an idea of what your camera is going to look like when you open it. So notice that I taped the lid on to make sure it would stay put for the 3 days that I exposed my paper. And when I pull the paper out, you're going to notice that it is a very faint image. It's upside down. It's actually backwards. And you can see that blue curved line. That's actually the path of the sun. My little pinhole camera recorded the sunrise for 3 days in a row, and so that's going to be the most intense thing that you see on the page. And when I scan it into the computer, I'm going to be able to bump up the contrast and show you what the positive image is going to look like. The pinhole camera gives you the negative image, but the scanner and the computer are actually going to show me what the real photograph looks like. Now, of course, it isn't the same type of crisp image that you might get from your camera phone, but it does have this kind of cool, dreamlike quality. This next image was a similar location, but I taped it to a window inside my house and I left it for 4 days. Look what happened on that 4th day. Look how that trail of the sun jumped. Now, it's more likely that my cat bumped into the camera than it is that the sun jumped, but I still think that is so cool. I also want to let you guys know that you don't have to point your camera at the sun. If there's an area near your house that you want to try to take a picture of, you should go for it. This is the view outside of my dining room window. I taped the camera again for 4 days. That was as long as I could stand it until I had to look, and it ended up being one of my favorite images. So now it's your turn. We're going to build a camera. You're going to take it home and see what kind of images you can collect. We're going to use a soda can for this experiment because the thickness of the metal works really well for the pinhole. The first thing you need to do is take a can opener and remove the lid from your can. Grab a paper towel and make sure the inside is nice and dry. Take a piece of black cardstock and trace a circle around your can. You're going to be using this for the lid. It does not have to be a perfect circle because we're going to be taping over the top of it. So cut out your circle and put it to the side. And next you're going to take that long skinny piece of cardstock and cut a fringe all the way down the end. This piece is about 2.5 inches by 8.5 inches long. Take a small piece of Gaffers tape and use it to tape that strip around your can. Notice that the fringe is pointing towards the top of the can. Next, you're going to need to take that circle that you cut out and tape it down right on top of the fringe. Sometimes it's easier to do this part on the bottom of the can. It is going to end up living on the top, but the bottom of the can, because it's closed, it's sort of easier to press down. So there's my first piece of Gaffers tape. It's about 5 inches long, going straight over the top. I'm going to need 2 more pieces in a crisscross fashion. I'm trying to make this waterproof. So each time just angle your piece a little bit more and see if you can get the whole top of that lid really nice and sealed. What you don't want to do is you don't want to tape the lid to the can. It needs to be removable so that you can open your can and put your paper in and then close it back up again. So now it's time to add the lens. I learned the hard way that a tiny pinhole is kind of hard to find if you're putting your camera out at night. So start by at least making a circle with a Sharpie just to help figure out which way you're going to angle your camera when you install it. Take a pin, this is just a small pin for sewing, and poke it through the middle of that circle, and this is going to be the lens of your camera. Now we want it to be a smooth hole so that when the light passes through it, it doesn't hit any bumps along the way. So grab a little piece of sandpaper and just use it to smooth out the inside of the can. You'll see it works really quickly. So if I was ready to put my photo paper in, I would actually have to go into a dark room. The paper that I'm putting in the can right now is just to show you what it's going to look like when I put the paper in and add the lid. Now there's no reason why you can't give your camera a little disguise, so if you want to decorate it, that's fine. Just make sure that you're not doing anything that would block the pinhole. The last thing that you need is a cover for your pinhole. This is going to work as your shutter. When you open it up, it lets light in, and when you close it up, it seals your photo paper into darkness. It's also a good idea to tape that lid shut once you have your camera filled with photo paper. So that's it. I can't wait to see what kind of images you capture with your pinhole cameras. I hope you have some fun with this project.